And as a gal just getting in from brunch, I fear that the only way out of that flop era is to get outside. Now. Hello and welcome back to the vlog. My name is Naomi and I am a third-year PhD student living in Boston, and I'm currently trying to not let the winter blues get the best of me. So I hope that you enjoyed this video of me talking through what certainly felt like a flop era and also talking about some of the things that helped me come out of it. And if you're currently watching this video and you feel like you're in a little bit of a flop era yourself, this is your reminder to not stay there too long because there's work to be done, girl. No, because leave it to me to have already entered a flop era at the beginning of the year. So I'm being slightly facetious when I use the term flop because I know that it has loaded connotations. And for what it's worth, I don't genuinely believe that I am in a flop era. I just mean that I am not showing up the way that I would want to. And I haven't this week until last night, this morning-ish or whatever. But everything hasn't fallen by the wayside, I will say that, but enough has for me to be like, all right, girl, let's snap out of it. And I'm not gonna act like I don't know where this is coming from, because I do know where it's coming from. And I think that it's something that we all experience when we are right on the edge of a breakthrough, or we're waiting for a certain kind of answer, or a chapter is coming full circle, perhaps a door is closing and it's right at the precipice of the opening of another. Like, there's just a lot that could be happening in order for your brain to like freak out and just stall and be like, I don't want to do it, I'm comfortable where we are, imposter syndrome, wanting to go back into bad habits. It's just a lot. So this morning I tried to nip it in the bud. I know how I felt waking up the past few mornings, and some of that is just like the weather. We are on track to get a very, very heavy, strong winter storm, and I don't want to deny that my sinuses have been messing up. This is distracting. But what I will say is that sometimes you also just need to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and tap into what you know and who you know is inside of you, because we already know what exists on the other side of comfort. We know what exists on the other side of doing the same thing that we did yesterday and the day before. What happens when we're trying to do just a little bit better? What happens when we're sticking to our goals even when it sucks, even when it feels extremely hard, even when it pisses you off and you just don't want to do it? So that's where I am with this week. That's why this vlog is starting on a Thursday. This vlog is starting on a Thursday because for the first half of the week I just didn't have it. I didn't have it, and now I do. I have a little bit more than I did, and I'm ready to just continue. And I'm proud of myself because for a long time it used to be that I would have this feeling and then I would let it take over me for like months at a time. And I'm grateful that it's just been a handful of days and that I can feel a version of me resisting the one that wants to be comfortable and the one that wants to, like, again, stay back, keep doing the things that I've been doing. In fact, one of the things that I wanted to tackle, which is why I hesitate to call it a flop era, and I know that I've said that already, but like, we have to be mindful of the words that we use. I was gonna put something off until Friday, and on Monday night I was like, just do it now, just do it now. And so I did, and I ended up getting an answer promptly on Tuesday morning that made me feel like, okay, now I'm closer to where I was had I waited till Friday, had I waited till next week. Like, it was just, and also it wasn't that hard. Like, why was I trying to put it off till Friday anyways? The brain will trick you up out your spot if you let her. So we all have to be actively trying to come against what our brain is trying to tell us, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, when you're in a slump, the most basic things can be difficult to do. So when I woke up on Thursday, I immediately opened the blinds, put on this house music playlist that I found, and just got straight into self-care, did some skincare, took care of my hair a little bit, and just woke myself up and started the process of unflopping, if you will. And honestly, by this point, I already felt so much better, but I went ahead and used my momentum to make myself a nourishing breakfast. I also wanted to refresh my nails a little bit, just to put a little extra pep in my step, you know? You'd be surprised how much vanity will motivate you, okay? Sometimes you gotta be a little vain. Then it was finally time for me to head to campus where I took a couple meetings.
Greetings from the library that I almost didn't make it to. Yeah, everybody clap right now.
Okay, but did you clap? Exactly, exactly. Later in the day, I had a workout class scheduled with one of my favorite instructors, and I don't even have to tell you, the power of endorphins changed my entire mood. It was amazing.
Hi, hello from Pillow Mountain. We are expected to get a lot of snow today, and so with the exception of one thing that's going to take me out of the house about midday before the storm begins, this is most likely where I will be for the remaining part of the day. But anyways, I wanted to come and quickly talk about a few things that I feel like have helped me come out of this slump that I've been experiencing. And the first thing I will say is doing something that I know that I'm good at. And in this case, it was reading. And even though it was a class assignment, it really just helped build my confidence in a way that I felt like was kind of falling by the wayside. I think that's one of the main drivers of a flop era is that inner dialogue and how you feel about yourself. And so usually when it comes to academic reading, very rarely do we go from top to bottom in a paper. A lot of times it's not necessary depending on what you need the paper for, but in this case I decided, you know what, let me really get into the nitty-gritty of this paper. Let me read something, one that I'm ultra interested in, because sometimes when it comes to the reading that you have to do for class or even for your lab, like, yes, you're interested in it, it's okay to read something completely different. It's okay to read something that has nothing to do with your research, has nothing to do with, your coursework. And so that's what I chose to do. And I went through an article top to bottom. It was about maybe 15 pages worth of actual core text, and I just felt so much better afterward. And reading is something that I do on a daily basis, again, for work, but also for pleasure. And I just really needed to reinforce that, girl, you be doing stuff, you be using your brain, like, you are smart. And so do something that you're good at. The other thing that I feel has significantly helped is saying yes. And when I mean saying yes, I mean if you receive an invitation from someone to do something, anything, maybe not anything, but to do something, I think you should do it, unless you obviously have a conflict or an aversion to whatever they're asking you to do. In this case, I said yes to a brunch invitation that I got this past Friday for Saturday. And I could have been like, oh no, this is, not enough notice, or my bank account ain't looking right, which, for what it's worth, at the time, I ain't have no money to be saying yes. But guess what? I still made it to brunch, right? Everything worked itself out. And I think in part is because I was willing to still say yes. And I was able to see people that I hadn't seen in a while. I made some new connections. And like I said at the beginning of this video, sometimes the key to getting out of the slump is just going outside. It's just going outside, right? This was weeks ago now, but I ended up at a birthday party last night that I had gotten invited to a while back. And even then, at the time when I was saying yes to that invitation, I didn't know that I was going to be on this side of a slump, but also helped lift my spirits. Also, just, it was nice. And even though it was like 2 degrees outside last night, I didn't even feel it. Okay, that's not true. I felt it. I felt it in my fingers and my toes, okay? But it was just like, it was worth it, is what I'm trying to say. There's a long-winded way of me saying that it was worth it in terms of what it has done for me mentally, what it's done for me emotionally, and you gotta say yes. Say yes. They say that the cost of community is inconvenience sometimes. And yeah, what did it suck to be out in the freezing cold last night? A little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But was it worth it for how I'm feeling right now? Was it worth it for the memories that were made? Was it worth it to show up for a friend's birthday and, see my classmates outside of school? Absolutely, absolutely. And the final thing I want to say is also in the same vein of spending time, with people, is to chat with a loved one. I am someone who can be very introverted and even reclusive. And that's not always the best thing. And so I made an effort to reach out to my mom and sister this past Friday as we were all preparing for the winter storm, but they live further south, and I know that they're probably going to get hit with let's say a level of precipitation that they're not necessarily like built for. Like I live in New England. We're ready. We're ready for all of this snow, but down there it's a different story. And I know that because I grew up down there. I've seen it with my own two eyes. Like we're the type to cancel for flurries. So the fact that they're calling for inches and inches and inches and ice, I know they're going through it. But reached out, got to chat with them. I also just got off the phone with my brother. We talked for about an hour, and again, priceless. My brother called me in the middle of my journaling session, and at first I was like, I'm gonna call him back, but I'm so glad that I actually picked up the phone because he was headed to do his own thing anyways, and we were just able to have a key, laugh a little bit, encourage each other, and I feel so rejuvenated for my day. Even though I came home late, I didn't get as much sleep as I would have liked. It's fine. Moving forward, what I'm trying to say is that you're not always going to be performing at your highest level. That should not be the expectation. You're not always going to feel good. You're not always going to feel happy-go-lucky. You're not always going to feel excited about life. I think that's the reality of it. But how we choose to deal with those things makes a huge difference. And as someone who, if I'm being completely transparent, has gone through months long, like just dark eras of my life, I know that one of the main drivers of those eras was inner dialogue. How I was talking to myself about myself. How I was talking to myself about the world that we live in. And while there are some things that are completely out of my control, there are also a lot of things within my control. And a lot of it comes with time. And, as someone who is approaching 30, I realize that I have not been an adult for that long, and that's not me making excuses for myself, but it is acknowledging that there's a lot to unpack, and people spend their entire lives unpacking things that happened to them when they were children, right? So not to get too deep into it, but yeah, I will say I feel much better today than I did when I started this vlog on Thursday, and I am looking forward to where this day takes me, even if it's not very far from here, because we need that too, right? But yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, I probably will film after I come back from class. Who knows? Stay tuned. But this is real life. So yeah, live it.